Hi there, I'm Kevin with ConvoActive, and I'm here to talk to you about Puppet Talk, our service which allows children to, via Zoom, have interactive one-on-one conversations with the puppets. The puppets that I'm referring to are the ones that came from Portland Puppets, which is to say they're sort of like Muppet-style puppets, in fact, fairly common, but they've been characterized, if you will. I am a voiceover actor, and I do many different character voices, and I use these puppets as a vehicle for my voices. And of these Portland puppets, we have an elite group of about a dozen of them called Hoagie's Heroes that are just perfectly suited for children. You know, children's minds are developing. That's when so many things are happening when they're really at their youngest. So it's important that we don't just let them just sit behind a screen and basically, I guess no other way to put it, sort of atrophy. It's very important that children learn to engage and to be comfortable with being able to speak with other people and develop their creativity. And so this service does that and much more. A lot of times we can do things that are tailored specifically to the child's needs. In fact, if you look on the actual website, you'll see that we have a whole list of suggestions, and there's almost no end to what we can do. You know, children, as you're probably well aware, once they see a puppet, they immediately relate to it. They immediately, I guess, sort of feel free to be themselves. Puppets themselves are judgment proof. They don't, when you look at a puppet, just much like when you look at a dog, for example, you just see the being, in effect, that they are, the character. And without all the misgivings that you might have when you see a person, especially as a child. Adults are often sort of, as we must recall when we were children, how we perceived adults versus something like a teddy bear. And so that makes puppets almost magical in the way that they can interact with children. And myself being a professional puppeteer of, like I said, of some 10 years, I have learned many things, many skills, and many ways to get the most out of whoever my audience is, and whatever it is. And sometimes, of course, my audience is older people. They react much the same way as a child. That I believe is because puppets actually kind of go straight past a lot of our critical thinking up here and right into the heart of the child within us. And for children, that is something that they can be in a much more comfortable space, if you will, and that allows them to be able to be more open with things, more willing to push boundaries, so to speak, with themselves. And that is just priceless. So if I may, I'd just like to read a few points here. Puppetry encourages children to engage, and puppetry enhances the communication skills. There's no question about it. It promotes emotional expression. This is so important. Today, this is something that is so missing because children have almost forgotten even how to play amongst other children because they have not exercised their parts of their mind that are so necessary for development. And that is something that makes this service just one of the things, actually, that just makes it critical. And frankly, I wish everybody could have access to a service like this, where it is direct, it's interactive, and we can tailor it to what you want. Sometimes maybe you just want to let your child just talk. I have with Hoagie's Heroes, for example. The Hoagie is a little boy puppet, and he can do all kinds of things, of course, playing that role. But one of the things that I really like to do and find that a lot of parents enjoy is to be able to let the child talk and express to the puppet. And the way we do this is to have Hoagie act like, to, in effect, put the child as the teacher. And Hoagie becomes the student. And it's tremendous. There's just so many things. It's like I said, it's almost endless, the things we can do. And again, these puppets all have their own their own unique characteristics that all serve a purpose. So, moving along here, stimulates creativity. No question about it. Nothing like puppetry. I myself have experienced this. Just working with puppets makes me more creative. It allows the brain to somehow be in more of a free form. It's hard to explain, but if you ever get your hands on a puppet and really start, if you will, playing with it, you'll see what I'm talking about. It really opens up creativity that way. But also, just when you see a puppet, when you watch, if you ever remember seeing Sesame Street or The Muppet Show, there's something about it that just kind of brings out the child in you. And that is really, in my opinion, and I'm not alone, that is where so much of creativity comes from, is that being able to see things in less conventional and more boundless ways. And so that facilitates learning. Unquestionably, there's no better learning tool, and this has been shown over and over. Puppets are terrific for teaching and having children teach back and for learning. It's amazing. It is nearly magic how puppets, the way puppets are able to again, sort of have the brain in more of a free space where things can just kind of happen smoother, slicker. It's almost like greasing the skids, so to speak, of the mental process. And interacting with puppets really helps build confidence. Some children are just naturally confident, naturally outgoing. I, for one, was one. But a lot of children they are more reserved, more cautious, shy. They tend to hold back. Often, I believe, it's because they're just not sure and maybe a little scared after all. They are new to the world, and sometimes it just doesn't come natural just to be putting yourself out there. But a puppet, by its very nature, encourages, inspires the child to come out, be more adventuresome, I guess we could say. All these things combined are really, the effects are priceless. And there's much more, as you can see if you read on the website. Also, I want to say, this is the Talking with a Puppet. Now, can you imagine when you were young, if you ever watched Sesame Street and the puppets on there, as you were a little kid? I'm talking somewhere in the vicinity of maybe 3.5 to 7 years old. Can you imagine, instead of just watching the puppets, actually being able to talk with Ernie and having Ernie talk back? That is what this is. This enables your child to talk directly with the puppet and have the puppet respond. It's a fantastic service, and one that I really do wish was available to everybody. Every child should have this. And when children get a little bit older, perhaps 7, 8, 9, they may not be so fascinated with just being able to talk back and forth with a puppet. But that is, to me, where the next level of puppetry comes in. And that's something I would encourage you to look into as well with ConvoActive, is the actually having your child become the puppeteer, learning to write scripts. Not using AI, actually developing a whole number of skill sets come with doing like a puppet show. And having that puppet, get them a puppet or have them make a puppet, and that puppet can talk with my puppet on Zoom. So there's just so many things. Anyway, I could really go on probably for 2 or 3 hours about puppets and puppetry as it relates to the child's development, getting the very best out of a child, helping the child to not only learn, but to become more creative and also more confident and more comfortable with engaging with other people, and a whole myriad of things that come from that. So anyway, I've gone on a little long. I appreciate your indulgence, and I certainly hope that I will be, or one of my puppets, will be seeing your child soon. Oh, and this is very important. These sessions can all be recorded, and I recommend that highly because a couple of things, actually 3. One is to be able to have your child be able to see what they just did, what they were just part of. That's kind of neat. The second purpose there is to be able to learn from it. You and your child can both review it, and you can think, well, maybe if we do this again, another session, maybe we should try this. I think it seems like this is really working, but I wish we could kind of develop this a little more. This is where almost anything's possible, and having record to be able to review and record the recording, you can really get a good sense of things that way. And it's just kind of fun to see. And lastly, of course, is to just have it maybe years down the road, you want to be able to look at it. Just to say, hey, this was you when you were, at you were 4 years old or whatever. You get the idea. Anyway, again, I'm Kevin with ConvoActive, and I really hope that you'll will give this service a try and be working with my puppets. Oh, and I almost forgot. Be sure to check out all of the Hoagie's Heroes videos. That way you can see all the characters that are available. That's really important. I can't believe I almost forgot that. So, okay. Anyway, bye for now. Thank you.